Good morning, today is the 30th of August and here we are at Rustival 3, an event headlined by iDriver Classic, Hubnut and Furious Driving at the British Motor Museum here at Gaydon in Warwickshire. I do apologise in advance if there's wind noise, if I get things wrong, if I fall over. I'm afraid it's just the way that it goes on this channel. There's a reason why these videos are called Slightly Shambolic Shuffles, viewers. Be warned right now. And also, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. If you don't like that, then I suggest you go and watch Hubnut, iDriver Classic or Furious Driving, because that's the way it's been for 3,000 videos and 7 years. So we'll start off with a couple of Volvo S40 Mark 1. This is a 2003, I think. It's quite a late one. This has spent quite a lot of time in Croatia, I believe. Someone's got a beige leather interior in here. It's a 1.6. I'm not exactly sure of the model. Someone's put turbo and V6, which I don't think actually apply to it, which is interesting. Yes, interesting decoration on there. Next to it, we've got this 2000 S40 1.8. Both of these cars have the 5-cylinder Volvo white block engine. This could potentially be the Mitsubishi engine here, because that was also 1.8. But I would probably say it's more likely to be the 4-cylinder white block. Then we've got an Astra G. We like Astra Gs very much, yes. World Narcolepsy Day, 22nd of September. Yeah, that's quite a serious thing, actually, to be honest with you. This looks like it's some kind of charity rally or something. What engine's in this Astra G? No idea. So it's 2002. When I drove earlier this year was a 99. Fine Radiation Starlet. This actually looks in really nice condition. Most of these have gone really rusty. This is in superb order. All the Starlets of this generation in this country were 1.3s. All of them. It doesn't matter what trim it was a 1.3. Now, there were more exciting Starlets sold elsewhere in the world, but for some reason, until the Yaris came out, which is also on a, I think it was S or a T the Yaris came out on, the Starlet was just criminally undermarketed over here for some reason. I hope to be driving a Starlet actually at some point soon. And then a TVR. It's a Cerberus, isn't it? Because why not? Why not indeed, viewers? Yeah, it's a Cerberus. It's a Speed 6 model with the later rear lights. And then a very, very nice Daimler Sovereign Coupe based on the XJC Jaguar. So imagine this is a 4.2. This is a bit like the Big Cat from New Avengers, but that was actually a broad-speed conversion. 4-speed manual plus overdrive. That's a rare thing, isn't it? Could you get a manual Daimler? Well, yeah, there you go. We skip the Skoda views onto this Comma Space van, or whatever it was called that week. These vans lasted from 1960 to 1983 and went through various mark names and badges and things. This is about 1970, this one. The handling was not the best. This is from Auto Sleepers, this particular conversion. I like Comma Space vans. I'd like to try one. I gather that getting the engine out is quite difficult on one of these. I think you have to crane it out of the windscreen or something like that. It's a bit of a challenge. But nevertheless, they were very popular back in the day. Very sort of cost-effective transportation for lots and lots of companies. Then an MB MX-5. I was wondering when it would be when we'd see one of these. We've seen an A. This is an MB. It's in purple. I wonder how many more we're going to see today, viewers. A Mark 5 Mondeo Estate. And it's a petrol, viewers. I mean, if that was a Vignale, I'd be even more excited. As it is, I'm quite excited because it's actually a manual. Very nice, viewers. Very nice indeed. Morgan Freewheeler, 2012 to 13. MX-5 gearbox, I believe, in these, and the engine sits right out the front. Like the old ones from the 30s and things. Next we've got a Mercedes 190, 1989 to 90 registration. It's a bit different from one that Simon from Lot 26 Cars owns. It's actually 2.6, which is, yes, Very nice. It's a bit faster than his 2 litre. Goodness me, viewers, a Mark III Astra Estate. It's a 1.4 pre-facelift. Let's take a look and see what year this is. Does it actually say? So this is the more powerful one. I think this is a 1993. It could be 94. Caribbean Blue. 1.4 LS. So yes, it is a 93. I got it right. I prefer the facelift ones personally, yes, but you know, there we go. More Panda action. In fact, I recognise this Panda because I drove this some considerable time ago, back at the end of last year. Unlike the 1.1 that you saw in the crater air, this is a 1.2, which in my mind is infinitely superior. But don't tell Miss Child that. We're currently operating a policy views. If I'm not sure about something, I just skip it. So that is the safer way of doing it. Ooh, a Rover 45 petrol, 2003, a Sloon. Someone's fitted different front indicators, I think, from an MGZS to this, and more the body kit than they normally had, which makes it look a little bit weird. So I know these quite well because I had a 2003 45 V6 Connoisseur for a number of years. Hilux we'll not be talking about. We'll go on to this Rover 100, not a Metro. Now, they're often called Metros these days, but they were never badged as that. The previous model, which was discontinued early 1995, was called a Metro, but these are definitely Rover 100s. You can see this one says 100 Canyon SE. Probably the 1 litre or 1.4. From Southampton, CG. 95-96 registration, Nightfire Red. We'll have a look at that Caddy in a bit, viewers. We can go on to this Sapphire. A Sapphire 1.8 LX, very late one actually, 91-92 plate. So after the 1990 facelift, 2 facelifts on the Sierras, 1987 and 1990. This has the Type 9 gearbox in it. I quite like these. Obviously the Sapphire's a different grille from the standard hatches. I believe this is a Toyota Crown. I can't remember what model this is called, but this is the one they used to use as a taxi for years and years and years. Very formal looking car. Deluxe comfort. Tyre Pet was one of the names used for earlier Toyotas. There we go. Saitama Tyre Pet. Obviously imported from somewhere, complete with the doilies inside on the seats and the head restraints. Very, very nice. Cavalier Mark 1 sports hatch. 1600 GLS. We like these very much, viewers. 79 to 80 plate. Basically the same as a Man to Be. Man to Be lasted much longer till 88. These only lasted 81 when the Mark II Cavalier came out. I absolutely love this. This is brilliant. So this was sold as a used car in 1984. It's a 1980. This particular car. I really want to have a go in something like this. I adore Mark 1 Cavaliers, particularly the sports hatch. Then we got a Saab 96, I think this is. 7273 registration on an L. Probably with the Taunus engine in it, full Taunus engine. And next we've got a Hillman Minx, not a Super Minx, a Minx. 1966, the second to last year they made them actually. Of this shape, the arrow shape came out I think 66, 67. It's a nice colour this actually, I like that. I think this is called a Series 5 from memory. So, a 1991-1992 Peugeot 205 automatic. That was just the name of the model, it was just called the automatic, they weren't called anything else. Probably a 1.6 like the one I drove, oh gosh, a long time ago now, 2021 I think I drove that. Quite like those actually, viewers. And then a Tomcat, later Tomcat from the Hatiti Blue one we saw in part 1. This is one with the K series and the rounded dash in it from the Rover R3. Don't know if that's the 1.6 or 1.8 VVC model. I'd like to think it was the VVC, but I'm not sure. 97, 98. Then we've got MG ZT190, 2004 to 5 registration. Driven a couple of those actually on the channel. Oh yes, viewers, a Mark 1 Seat Ibiza, 1991 registration. Exceptionally rare cars. I was very, very blessed to drive one of these last year. For some reason, the video wasn't very successful, despite the fact that I think Ian Seabrook and I are really the only people who've driven one of these for I don't know how many years. Little bit of Fiat help, bit of Volkswagen help, bit of Porsche help. By this sort of stage, I think Seat was owned by Volkswagen by the time this car was made, about 1990-91. Next, we've got a Volvo 940 Estate. This is the SE Turbo model. Could probably do with a new door, couldn't we? Probably be best to get a new door. Yes. Anyway, this is one of the later ones with a slightly different gearbox. I've driven an absolute ton of these viewers. I really like them. My favourite 940 though is the one that Mr. Coleman, Road Mechanic, owns. It was beautiful 1992 Wentworth. Very nice, a Saab 9.5 Aero Estate. That seat might need a repair at some point. We like these views, we like these very much. I drove a 9.5 Aero quite recently. In Manchester it was a saloon for about 2000. Tesla thing, Model 3. Why not? I mean, it's alright I suppose, but we've got something a bit more interesting here. 2011. It's a Toyota Crown Majesta or something like that. Obviously not sold over here officially. Someone's imported this. Yeah, it's a Crown Majesta. It looks like a very, very big Avensis. Also, we have a Mark 1 Fiat Punto Cabrio. Superb, 98-99 registration. I think these were 1.4s, but I've forgotten now. It says 16 valve. Don't know. Just think we've got the indicator. I thought all the Punto Cabrios had the clear indicators, but maybe I'm wrong. Like I'm about so many things. Anyway, we've got a very nice Fiat Cinquecento here, which looks like it's a replica of the In-Betweeners car. There we go. It's not the original, so we've got the 899cc. I drove one of these last year, the 899cc engine, and it was exceptionally slow. Very, very slow. Yeah, we've got the decals and everything. So it's a late Cinquecento, actually, this. The Seicento came out in 98. This is like a 97, 98 car. All the merchandise on the parcel shop at the back there. W30 MR2. I drove one of these a long time ago in 2022. It was one of the very first imported in 2000, and I think the original owner still got it. So this is also a 2000 car. Next, we've got another one of these Pandas, 2009. Honestly, these are quite good cars. If you can avoid certain common issues on them, then they actually do make for quite good cars. One of them's rust, cam belts, axles, that kind of thing. Just see, this is a 2009, it's got blue badges, and then this is also the purple one, that's got red badges. Anyway, Transporter 2000, T3 model I think these are called, on an F plate, so 87, 88, no sorry, 88, 89 that would be, on an F. That's your Logan MCV, but this is the posh one. I think they call this the Stepway model. And it's the Tech Road, which is the absolute kind of top of the range for one of these. What year is that? 2020, I think, something like that. And now we've got two standard 8s. Do we have opening boot lids, viewers? We'll have a look. Because some of these did not get an opening boot lid. Yes! Neither of them. Which means they're really, really early ones. They're sort of from sort of 55 or earlier, maybe. How could you market a car that doesn't have an opening boot lid, where the fact the boot lid opens is considered an optional extra? But there you go, viewers. No wonder standard was standard. Right, an MR2, Mark 1. I drove one of these recently, actually. It's an 89, a very late one. This is an 87 particular car. So some interesting sort of period-looking decals on it. Someone's changed the wheels, which is fine. Got some TRD wheels on this. Quite good fun, although the Supra that the chap who owns the Armatura I drove is much more preferable to me. I prefer the Supras personally, but that's just me. Austrian plate on this NBMX5. Has this come all the way from Austria, this Rustival? If it has, I'm very impressed. I'm Very impressed indeed. So, a little 106. There's quite a few of these here today. This is the Zest Special Edition. Zest 3 was the one I filmed last year, which was in 2003. Presumably we've got this as a 1.1 or 1.4 TU engine in there. I never looked at the pedal box on these. Same with the Saxo, which is the same car. A bit cramped for me. Look at this. Low specification Mark IV Fiesta Encore. For some reason the Encores were often in this colour. I remember them back in the day. The Encore was the absolute base model. This had the 1.3 Kent engine in it, or Valencia engine, they're known as by now. Nice colour. Very basic. Windy windows and nothing really. But, you know, if you're a certain follower of a Welsh-based YouTube channel, then this is the sort of thing that you want. 9697 on a P. So, a nice S124 estate. I drove one of these last year. This one is particularly nice because it is the 280, and it has a beige leather interior with wood. I do like a nice beige leather interior, viewers. It's just before the facelift they had, which actually renamed the car to the E280. Someone's written this up as an E280, but there's no badge on it, so who knows. I'm more interested though in this Lancia Delta HF with headlamp wiper action. Yes please, viewers. 85, 86. Now I did sell them over here. Amazingly, this is not an Integrale, it's not left-hand drive. You could actually get right-hand drive Deltas over here. And this is a sort of like a predecessor to it, because it's an HF Turbo. We like this very much, viewers. It's the sort of thing we would very much like to have for ourselves. Needs a bit tidying up, but I like Lancias, viewers, very much. Pontiac Transport, 89 to 90. And it looks like a dustbuster. In fact, that's actually the name for these vans in America, the dustbuster vans. That's actually the name most people call them. And there you go, a dustbuster van, just for your viewing pleasure, viewers. And another Cinquecento, this time is a Sporting from Mangaletzi, I think it's called, the dealership. These have the much more powerful 1.1 engine rather than the standard ones, which had a 900cc engine. And there we go, 9697. Then this Alpha 33 1.5. I'm sure I've seen this before many times, viewers. Like the Lancia Delta 8586 on a C. That is agreeable, viewers. It's most agreeable. As is this Audi 80 B2. 83, 84 plate before the facelift. I drove one of these. It's a very late one. It was an 80 Sport from 86. Owned by the chap who was next to Mitsubishi Starion at the start of the video. Don't know what model that is. When I was growing up, two of our neighbours had these. Just random. 2001 to 2 Rover 75 in Wedgwood Blue. This is a 2 litre. Yes, it's a 2 litre V6. Excellent. Shame we haven't got a beige leather interior, but we can't have everything, can we? Jeep Renegade, one of the more distinctive looking cars that's just gone off sale. Replaced by the Jeep Avenger, really, I think. Same as a Fiat 500X underneath. I drove one of these a little while ago. They're actually worth quite a lot of money. This is the 1.3 Longitude. It's got the Firefly engine in it. 2021-2022 registration. It's a shame that someone's had a bird dump its business all over it. Obviously, we're going to prove with the 1.3 Firefly engine. This is a Zafira. I was close to it on the motorway this morning. It's a 1.8 Elegance, a Zafira A from 2002 with some very interesting alloy wheels. Very interesting indeed. This is interesting, this Nissan van. It's got a Datsun badge on it as well. This is around the time when they were sort of changing over between the Datsuns and Nissan, so we might have two badges on here. Nissan Caravan, didn't get them over here. This is a Japanese domestic market one, 85-86 on a C. Unfortunately, the Espace isn't here for you. It belongs to Mr. Charles from Grand Theft Auto, so we should have to carry on. Have a look at this Jaguar F-Type, a very early one actually. It's 2013 is the year they came out. The F-Type S. I imagine this is a 6-cylinder one. I really would like to have a go in an F-Type at some point in my life, viewers. Next we've got a Volvo C70. I've seen this actual car before. It was at Alton one time when I was actually there at the departure lounge. This is the T5 version, 240 horsepower. I can't remember what year this one is. Obviously, having had one of these myself, which was also a T5, I do know them quite well. Next, we've got a Genesis G60 on that. There's actually Genesis fleet plates on this. I remember doing a walk around of one of these, and they came out in 2022. Not really my kind of thing, the electric Genesis models, but the petrol ones I think are brilliant. I'm sure this is a great car, but the problem with something like this is you buy it and it's great, and the interior is actually quite nice. But then you go to sell it a few years later and it's lost an absolute heap of money, which is a real shame, because the interior is beautiful. So we have this 2CV van. It's not an Acadian, which is based on a Diane. This is just a 2CV van. Interesting way to keep ventilation going there. Can't remember what these are actually called now. There's some name for them. Citroen 400, I don't know. Anyway, let's have a look at this Triumph Vitesse from 1969 to 70. 6-cylinder. Quite a late one, discontinued in 71 these were. Yeah, 1970, there we go. Further to our telephone conversation of yesterday, we'd like to confirm we are holding stock a new Triumph Vitesse 2 Mark II saloon in Damson Tantrum Overdrive. Better Motors Limited of Hazelmere. Excellent, sorry plate on that. Then another 2CV from the mid-1980s, 84, 85 on a B. It's a Special, very Special. And then a Diane, a very late one, 82, 83, the last year they made this was 83. The replacement for the 2CV didn't go very well because they just kept making the 2CV and the Diane got discontinued, so not the best really. And then a Marina, 1.3 I think this would be actually with this front end, early one. This is a 1973. It's a 1.3 Super Deluxe. Oh, what's the name of this colour? I always forget the name of this colour, which is terrible, viewers. There's a reason why these videos are called the Shambolic Shuffles, viewers, because we don't know what they're doing, do we? Anyway, very nice Mark 6 Fiesta Z-Tech S. We like these, viewers. This one's immaculate. Look at that. Because they're quite old cars now, the Z-Tech S is the Mark 6 are beginning to rust quite badly now, but they're not worth anything, so hopefully this one will be preserved for posterity. A couple of Audi A1s, having had one of these on the channel just last night, we actually quite like these views. The only problem is they're incredibly overpriced. They are stupidly overpriced cars for what they are. They're very nice, but I don't think they sort of merit that. So, sorry, if this is an A1 2015, this is an A3. The A3s are more popular really. I think the A1 is not long for this world. So there we go. Something else I filmed quite recently was one of these A209 Mercedes-Benz CLKs. Fortunately none of them were available engines we can't talk about, so this is definitely a petrol one. It was quite nice, but actually available these cars for not much money. We're talking sensible second-hand reviews money. Actually for sensible second-hand classics now because they're all over 15 years old, so I quite enjoyed the one I drove, viewers. Extremely late Corsa B. I know this is a 2000, but it's this typical 1990s Vauxhall paint fade. I mean, look at this, it's gone all pink. But these days, you just leave it alone like that, and it's brilliant. It's a 1 litre 12 valve, so it's I think probably bottom of the range. With very old-fashioned. I think there's a Chevy Matiz hubcaps on it. Wonderful. We actually got a bit of red still there. So 2004 to 5 Mercedes-Benz A140. This is the Avant-Garde model. The Avant-Garde was all sporty, but with the 1.4, I don't think you're going to go very fast. That's actually in really nice condition for a car that's over 20 years old. That looks great. Yes, so Mark IV Golf GTI. 3-door. It's similar to the one I drove actually in the North East last year. Hopefully the passenger door actually opened. The other one, the passenger door didn't open, so that wasn't good views. 2001 to 2. Next we've got a Mitsuoka Gallew from 1997. It's based on the Nissan Crew, which we didn't sort of get over here. The front and rear have been remodelled to look a bit like a Bentley S or something. Yeah, the Bentley S1 or 2 and 3. Whether that's a good idea, I don't know. I think it looks a bit weird personally, but there we go. I much prefer the Subaru SVX. Very, very rare car, 3 litre flat 6 engine. Extremely nice. I would very much like to have a go on one of these views. I mean, I don't want to own one particularly, but I'd like to go on one. They look amazing, don't they? And we've got a rear wiper, so everything is right with the world. Possibly a Subaru press car, Birmingham plate, I don't know. We're certainly doing one for Streetwisers today, viewers. I mean, they're quite rare cars, and this is a rare version. It's a 1.8 automatic with a CVT gearbox. So 118 horsepower. This has a slightly different interior in it from the earlier Streetwisers. These days, everybody wants cars like this, but back in 2005 or whenever it was, they didn't. Very nice early Rover 75 here. Cowley built one with black sills. This is a 2.5 V6, I think a connoisseur. Very nice. Chrome mirror caps and all the luxury you can imagine. Little badges, torpedo badges and all sorts of things like that. Next to it we've got a much later one with the 1.8 badge. This is a 1.8 case series from 2003. As you can see, this has had a few things added back onto it, like the badges there and the torpedo badge down there. Probably just like a club or something. But very typical colour for 75 in gold. So a Triumph Spitfire. This is a 1500, 77, 78 registration. I keep wanting to try one of these actually, but if you look at the interior, it does look a little bit small and a bit cramped. So maybe it would be a bit challenging to get in. But I'm going to give it a try at some point in my life though. I have driven a midget, so I'll probably get in there. I think these are Portuguese built, these late 2CVs. They were discontinued in 1990 when the factory actually closed, so there we go. If somebody in the comment section below can tell me if that's the case. That's 87 to 88 on an E. So Toyota Tercel, 4-wheel drive. We've seen quite a few recently. There was one that mismatched at the hatch. This has got an interesting thing. It's not actually a 6-speed gearbox. You've got like a little crawler gear, I think, on this. You'd think they're pretty rare, and they are, but I just keep seeing these everywhere. I don't know why. They weren't exactly common back in the day or anything like that. That one's 86, 87. 2010 Honda Accord. Fantastic car. Beige leather interior. I drove it in 2021 and it remains one of the best sensible cars I ever drove. It's owned by Richard, who brings it everywhere. Got one of my stickers in there. Yeah, one of the absolute best cars of time. You can keep your sort of BMW, Mercedes or whatever. I'd rather have one of those. Nissan 50Z 2007, the Nismo model, which do look like fun. They're not expensive, these actually either. You can pick them up for a reasonably low amount of money. Then we've got a Honda Insight from 2002, which I think I've seen this before. I don't remember where. I think I've seen this recently. Hello, my name is Goo. How do you do? We got this very, very unusual Saab 900 Turbo. This was, I think, exported to Oman, and it was specially kind of equipped for going to Oman. The plate, I think, is 85, but it might be an 84, this, I forget. But it is quite nice. I sort of enjoy things like this, viewers. Very nice. Very, very nice. A 1992 Rover 420 SLI with the M series engine. That is rare. Prepare GSI viewers, but this will do very nicely. We like such things, don't we? We have already driven one of these quite recently. and it was by the same person who owned this one. Red one's facelift, that's a pre-facelift. Very little registration. The original front end was discontinued in 1992, so probably 93, 92 May 93 registered. But viewers, what a car to end this part on. 8889 Rover SD3 Vitesse in dark green. The only thing that would make it better, viewers, is if we put a Van den Pla interior in it with beige leather and wood. So thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again in part 3 for more incorrect information.